Is the Monica White story based on a true story? What really happened? Is the dating app killer, the Monica White story, actually based on a true story? Yes, the Lifetime movie is based on the real-life experience of Monica White, a Pennsylvania woman who met Anthony Eugene Robinson through an online dating app in late 2020. What initially looked like a chance at finding love eventually became something much more frightening. Robinson was later convicted of killing 2 women in Virginia and was connected by investigators to several other deaths. But what makes Monica White's story so disturbing is that she had actually met Robinson, allowed him into her home, and spent time with him before she discovered the truth. She narrowly escaped becoming part of his list of victims. So, what really happened? And how close did Monica White come to a much darker ending? Let's go back to the beginning. Monica White was a divorced mother who decided to return to the dating world. Like many people looking for companionship, she turned to online dating. In late 2020, she met Anthony Eugene Robinson through the dating app Tagged. At first, there was nothing obviously terrifying about him. They talked, they video chatted, and over time, Monica believed she was getting to know someone who might become a serious romantic partner. Robinson was charming enough to gain her trust. But according to Monica's later account, the warning signs began appearing once their relationship moved from the internet into real life. In January 2021, Robinson traveled from Harrisonburg, Virginia to Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania to meet Monica. This was when things began to feel different. Monica later told People that Robinson became physically aggressive during their first visit. She said that he tried to tie her up and became forceful when she rejected what he was doing. For Monica, this was a major warning sign. But the relationship did not immediately end. Robinson continued communicating with her. Then, in February, he returned around Monica's birthday. And this second visit became even more disturbing. According to Monica's account, Robinson's behavior had changed. He reportedly talked about moving in with her despite the fact that their relationship was still relatively new. That made Monica uncomfortable. She felt that he was moving far too quickly. Then there was an incident that shocked her. Monica later recalled that Robinson urinated in her bed on her birthday. For her, it was another indication that something was seriously wrong. She decided she had had enough. Monica ended the relationship and told Robinson to leave. But that wasn't the end of the story. After leaving her home, Robinson stayed at a motel in Harrisonburg, Pennsylvania. He reportedly offered Monica money to come and visit him there. She refused. Later, Monica said she saw him outside the motel while driving past. And the person she saw seemed completely different from the man she thought she knew. She later described the change as frightening. It was one of the moments that stayed with her. Monica cut ties with Robinson. At that point, she had no idea just how important that decision would become. Months passed. Then, in November 2021, everything changed. Anthony Robinson was arrested in Virginia in connection with the deaths of 2 women. Suddenly, the man Monica had dated was no longer simply an unpleasant former boyfriend. He was at the center of a major murder investigation. Investigators had been examining the deaths of women whose bodies were discovered in the Harrisonburg area. Robinson became known publicly as the shopping cart killer because investigators said shopping carts were used to transport the bodies of some victims. According to prosecutors, Robinson had met women through online dating platforms before killing them. That discovery completely changed Monica's understanding of the relationship. The man who had slept in her home, the man she had trusted, the man she had rejected, was now being investigated as a serial killer. And Monica began wondering something terrifying. Could she have been one of his victims? She later told People that she felt something was wrong with Robinson during their time together. But she also struggled emotionally with what happened afterward. She wondered whether rejecting him had somehow contributed to his later violence. That is an important part of Monica's story. She was a survivor. She was not responsible for Robinson's actions. His decisions were his own. But discovering that someone you had invited into your home was accused of murdering other women would understandably leave a person questioning every moment of the relationship. And that is where Lifetime's movie takes the real story and turns it into a dramatic thriller. In the dating app killer, the Monica White story, Leela Rashan plays Monica White, while Jared Joseph portrays Anthony Robinson. The film was directed by Elizabeth Rome and premiered in February 2026. Lifetime describes the movie as a true story adaptation in which Monica begins connecting the dots between her former date and a series of murders. The basic foundation of the story is therefore real. Monica White really did meet Robinson online. She really did date him. She really did become uncomfortable with his behavior. And she really did discover later that he had been arrested in connection with murders. But viewers should remember one important thing when watching a movie like this. A Lifetime film is still a dramatization. That means certain conversations, scenes, timelines, and characters can be changed or compressed to make the story work on screen. The filmmakers are telling a dramatic version of events based on Monica's real experience. So not every moment shown in the movie should automatically be treated as a verbatim recreation of what happened. The real story is already disturbing enough. Robinson was ultimately convicted in the deaths of Allene Beth Redmon and Tonita Smith, two women who were killed in Harrisonburg in 2021. A jury found him guilty after a trial in January 2025. He received multiple murder convictions and other convictions related to concealing the bodies. Authorities have also investigated Robinson's potential connection to other deaths. That is why Monica's story became so significant. She wasn't simply someone who happened to date a dangerous man. She was someone who had first-hand contact with him before his crimes became widely known, and her decision to end the relationship may have saved her life. The most frightening part is how ordinary the beginning of the story seemed. There was no obvious sign on the dating app saying that Monica was talking to a dangerous criminal. There was no warning that the person sending messages and video chatting with her would eventually be accused of multiple murders. That is precisely what makes the story resonate with people today. Online dating can introduce strangers into our lives extremely quickly. Someone can appear charming through messages and video calls while hiding an entirely different side of themselves. Monica's experience shows why paying attention to uncomfortable behavior matters. She noticed that Robinson was moving too quickly. She became uncomfortable with his behavior, and eventually she trusted those feelings enough to end the relationship. That decision became critical. So, is the dating app killer, the Monica White story, based on a true story? Yes. The central story of Monica White meeting Anthony Robinson, dating him, becoming alarmed by his behavior, ending the relationship, and later discovering his connection to a series of murders is rooted in real events. But the Lifetime movie dramatizes those events for television. The real Monica White survived. She was able to walk away from Robinson before learning the horrifying truth about him. And perhaps the most chilling part of the story is that she had no idea how close she had come to something much worse. Today, Monica's story is remembered not simply because she dated a convicted killer. It is remembered because she trusted her instincts when something didn't feel right. The relationship began with the hope of finding companionship. Instead, it became a terrifying encounter with a man who would later be convicted of murder. And that is why the real story behind the dating app killer, the Monica White story, is so compelling. The movie may be a dramatization, but the fear Monica experienced was real. The warning signs were real. The man she met was real. And, most importantly, Monica White really did survive.